Hey guys, welcome back to the Life and Lessons of Me. I'm coming at you from Johnstown, PA again. Not my usual spot, 4 hours away. I think I've said that before, but anyway, I'm coming at you at around the same time as I did last week with the update here. So this is going to be part three. I'm just going to do a longer part three because I thought I was going to be doing this every day, but I found that I was mentally just drained every single day this week. I've just been driving basically nonstop. I've driven, I think I lost count. It was 24 at the end of last week. And then we've driven, so it's about, I can't do math. I can't do math. It's like 25 more, so 50-ish. So I'm basically done. Um, you know, I have tomorrow and then Monday and then Tuesday. That's when I get my license on Tuesday. So it's pretty hype. Then of course I have to drive to Harrisburg after that. That's like 2.5 hours. So yeah, but oh well. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I can't believe like you never know where you're going until you get there, right? So being able to drive a car the way that I do with a joystick, it's very similar to my wheelchair. If I didn't have as much experience driving this, I don't think I would be able to pick this up as easily or as quickly. Definitely not as quickly. Because I was talking to the guy who's teaching me how to drive. There are some people who, just don't have the necessary abilities to drive, and that's really unfortunate. But it's not it's not something that you can really control if you can't physically do it, right? But I think for a normal person, driving with a joystick makes no sense at all to anybody. Like, driving my chair is hard for people that don't have a lot of experience doing that. But you think about it, I've been in this chair for about 7 years, um, nonstop driving that every single day. Like, basically, I don't really like this comparison, but it's accurate. Like the wheelchair is like my legs. It's my mobility device. You have a mobility device. It's called your legs. They work right, you know. Um, so I use a chair. Great. But that experience and that constant use has helped me pick up driving a car and just overall has helped my spatial awareness a lot. That and video games probably. Um, Yeah, so that kind of thing is where I'm getting at. You don't know where you're going or why you're doing something until you do it. And then my experience with college before living in a dorm, that's what I'm doing now. So, I've experienced this kind of, you know, and I'm actually doing stuff this time. So it's less crap. Like it's less just boring sitting in my room doing nothing all day. It's driving for 5 hours, being exhausted, and just chilling out in this room. So I'm used to that. My mom, not so much. And, it's, I don't know, it's like I'm trying to be as understanding as I can, but there's some things that like send me over the edge, and I'm not trying to do that. And it's still, again, like I've mentioned my ability to default to being snarky or like being a jerk, but that's not really what I want to be doing or who I am. It's just like some learned behavior that I'm getting through. And I guess like I should be more empathetic towards my mom, but I just think that I don't know. It seems to me like we're competing, but we don't need to be competing. We need to be working together. That doesn't make it's just stupid that that's what it seems like. I'm not saying that is what it is. Like my mom and me are unstoppable, and I think we're very similar, which is why we sometimes butt heads. But you know, me and my mom are capable of like lots of stuff. Like honestly, I'm going to tell you, like for my audience who is like me, you can do anything. It's all a matter of pushing through the BS crap that you have to deal with, and like following all the stupid regulations and like all the junk. Like, if you want to drive a car, you absolutely can drive the car. And now some states are different, and I appreciate living in PA where I do, because um, again, the guy who's teaching me how to drive is telling me all this stuff. I'm like, so he said that in Maryland, it takes like 3 years to get this entire process done. This theoretically should take 3 months or so, if everything goes well, right? So first 3 weeks, license. Everything after that is not really in my control. I mean, this wasn't in my control. They just went, all right, we'll help you pay for your lessons now. I'm like, all right, okay, sounds good. Like, but it was just the weirdest timing. Like, we had already put a down payment on a car. So long story with that, we're gonna have to get an approved Traverse. It's so dumb. It's not smart. This system does not work for you whatsoever. Like, there are ways to get what you want out of it. You just have to be willing to put up with the BS. Like, I'm getting a Traverse. They've done this in a Traverse, so I'm getting a Traverse regardless. Like, and they keep saying, well, I don't know. Well, it's the government's job to be no men. They say no to everything until they do it. They're like, well, and so the reason why they wouldn't use the car that I originally got is because it's not on some approved safety list that, guess what, you got to pay to be on, so it's bullshit anyway. Like, it's pay to win. You know what happened with Battlefront 2 after the pay to win shit? It just, that's me, because gaming is my thing. But pay to win was a big issue, and people were pissed about it in the gaming community for Battlefront 2, because it's like, if you pay, you get these certain things earlier in the game. Like, you don't have to do the normal progression like that the game would make you do. So this is the safety list for the crash test, the approved crash tested vehicles list. It's not on it, but obviously it's been crash tested, or they wouldn't be able to sell anything, right? It's just the government has, a deal with like something with these companies that, there's not a lot of competition at all. It's not like a normal business. It's like a monopoly for real. Like, like, what is the market for accessible vans? It doesn't exist. Like, it's minuscule. Okay. There's about, like, I looked this up recently, but in the world, let me do it real quick while I'm on this, so I don't, give you false information, because that would be bad. Memento. All right. How many people are physically... Okay, well, that's not the right word, but whatever. All right. 61 million adults. 26%, which is 1 in 4 of adults, have some type of disability. So that's not as specific as I wanted it to be. Here we go. So that's not what. Let's just do the world. No, that's still not. I found the statistic, so I can't find it, but it's not that many. It's a good chunk of people, but not to the point of like the normal car market, right? So I can't just say, all right, I want whatever I want, because it's not approved. And especially if the government is helping me pay for it, I have to do what they want. So unfortunately, that means we have to get an approved Traverse. Doesn't mean we don't have to get a Traverse. I just think it's dumb, because I'm more of a libertarian, and I'm like, just let me do what I want. Is that so hard? Apparently, but yeah, I get it. It's their money. They want to know that it's being invested safely, and it's not just going to be a waste of money. I get that. I get it. But I can also understand how much of a pain in the butt that is. It's a pain in the butt, especially since we rushed it. My bad. I wanted my license so much that I just said, I'll do it myself. And guess what? I screwed myself a little bit, because I wanted to do something that they were denying me the ability to do. They were like, nope, you gotta pay for it. We're not gonna help you for like 4 years. since I was 16. Not fun. Not fun. And the biggest thing that wasn't fun about that was seeing people younger than me, even now, people younger than me are just getting their license, and so am I. I'm like, I don't know. There's something just like, I don't know. It's just like self comparison is bad in that sense. Um, Everyone's got their own life. Everything happens at a different time, at a different speed. Um, that's what I'm saying. You don't know where you're going or what the point is until you're there, right? And now I'm here and I can see what the point is, right? This is like life changing stuff. I can go where I want when I want. I still need some help, but like the independence that I'll gain is, it's priceless, honestly. Like it's worth all of the BS that I've been through the last 4 years trying to get this done. Like I was learning how to drive on a different system. Then that got vandalized, and guess what? They still don't have that van fixed yet. That's ridiculous. You know when that happened? September. You know what month it is now? March. Like, what? Why is it not done? That's my question. And then my other question is, how freaking long is my car going to take? And that's going to make me mad too. But we'll get there when we get there. Right? Right now, I'm just like, license, focus. Like, then I get my license. That's fine. It's useful. It's helpful. Especially since I don't have an official state ID. Oops. Um, but yeah, it's going well. I haven't killed anybody. I haven't crashed a car. Drove at night. That was fun. Got blinded on the highway yesterday. That wasn't so fun. I still survived. Didn't hit anything. Like, if you're an able-bodied person, you're like, oh, I can't do that. That's BS. No excuse. Just do it. Right? Yes, you might be nervous. Like I was super anxious to come up here and drive on these nutty roads, like nutty. They're crazy. To me anyway. But I'm able to do it. Like I've been able to do it. I've been able to conquer my anxiety about that. So yeah, you can do it too. Pick yourself up, rework your mindset, go to the gym. That helps mindset. As much as I hate to say that, because I'm like against the gym for obvious reasons, but I will say the gym absolutely benefits your mindset because you have to know. You can't just be like, I think I can lift that. You have to be like, I can lift that. You have to know. Even if you don't know, just you got to know that you can lift it. Because if you're strong enough to lift 200 pounds and you're like, nah, I can't do it, then no, you're not going to be able to do it regardless of your physical strength there. But like obviously you need to be strong enough to actually physically do it. But it works on the mindset too, because you're like, I can do that. And then you do it. And it gets easier every time you do it after that. Right. So I was like, let's get my license, let's do it. And on some of these roads, I'm like, oh, or like, or like, can we not do that? But I do them anyway because I'm on the road. I got nowhere else to go. So it's like when you get on a roller coaster. When I get in the car, I'm going where he tells me to. I'm not familiar with the area at all. It's exactly like going on a roller coaster you've never been on. You don't know when the corners are coming. You don't know, when the drop is coming, or like when there's a hill coming, or when there's a curve coming, or whatever. So it's a lot of me having no choice but to face my fear. But I think everyone should force themselves to do it sometimes because like living in fear just is no way to live. It's not. You could survive in fear. That's what fear helps you do, survive. But you don't need it to live, right? You need it to not die, which is not living, right? Like I said, surviving is not living. It's different. And my mindset took a big dive. Like it's just not been great. I mean, it's been better now. I've been able to, reset a little bit, but it's just I need help sometimes. Like no one can do it alone. Um, but yeah, it's very important to do what's important to you. You know, if something is important to you, you got to go do it. You owe yourself that, right? Because you don't know how much time you got, right? You really don't. So if you want to do something, you go do it. Okay, you don't not do it. You want to see somebody, you see somebody. If you want to tell somebody how you feel, do it. Because guess what? It's temporary. Life is temporary. So do everything that's possible now for you before it's too late. Like driving. Obviously, I got a lot of time left, but it's something that I want to have happen. I just want to do it. It's okay. Stop driving cars or get a chauffeur. Nah, I want to do it. I want to do it. It's rewarding to prove to yourself that you can do something that people would be like, oh, that's weird, or whoa, that's so cool. Like the amount of skills needed to actually drive a car the way I'm doing, there's a lot of skills involved. Like, I'm not saying you couldn't learn how to do it. You absolutely can learn how to do it, but not in 3 weeks. Like I come up here, it's a crash course. Like literally, it's a don't. I messed up the joke. It's a crash course without the crashing, because then I would be, bad at driving. So yeah, it's a crash course without crashing. Like, can you tell that I'm kind of mentally exhausted here because gibberish? Like, anyway, there will probably be one more next week, summarizing the rest, the final couple of days of driving. So yeah, I'm gonna go with this is part 3, and then I'll make part 4 next week when I'm home, and after the Harrisburg trip, after I see the Traverse. Um, yeah, so keep working on the mindset, keep going after what you want, regardless of people who are telling you no, or telling you you can't, or are telling you it's impossible. Like, yes, sometimes it is impossible. But think about it. JFK was like, we're going to the moon. And guess when we got to the moon? 1969, 1 year before the deadline, which was 1970. And yes, we did actually go to the moon. So, okay, we didn't even go to the moon. We built the rocket, right? It did something. Anyway, no, we totally went to the moon. Like I'm saying, like you can do the impossible. If we get to the moon in 9 years when the technology did not exist, like we were building that from scratch in 9 years, like you can do anything. If Elon can build a rocket that can take civilians up and autonomously do everything and fly around the earth for 3 days, yeah, you can do it. If I can drive a car one-handed with a joystick, you can do anything. Okay, so that's my point. And you don't know where you're going until you get there. So don't cut it short, because you owe it to yourself to see what you've been through, or to see the fruits of your labor, and to see your hard work to be okay, pay off. Like, you gotta be there to see this, and it's tough, but you just got to push through until you get to the end, right? This is, we're pretty close to the end of the tunnel here. Like, license out the way, car, that can happen on its own. My license is my main focus, and that was what was so difficult to get because it's so damn expensive. And that's another thing. Why is it so damn expensive? I don't know. But it is, because there's a limited market and it's advanced technology. And yeah, so I get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Life and Lessons of Me. I hope you come back next week to, see how this ended up. Oh, and I might be on a front cover of a magazine if you're from around here. Just keep an eye out for that. I did not know I was going to be on the front cover. Did not plan that, but give that article a read. It's about Jolly, my service dog, and a little bit about me and the podcast and things like that. So, if it brings some more traffic to the podcast, I'm not complaining. So with that, I'm going to end the episode. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.